ladies and gentlemen, we are starting today with Unit 2, Lesson 4, a mini project. So, as a reminder, your mini projects, which is going to be bubbles 3 and 4 of this lesson, will count as a quiz grade in your grades. So, let's make sure that this gets done, okay? This is just kind of, again, it's our first foray into actually coding our own website. So it's just going to be a small project. Like I said, it's going to act more like a quiz. So what I would like to do is I am going to, on bubble number 1, I am going to work through bubble A, probably D, and then F. And then the other 3, you guys will be able to work out on your own. All right, so let's do A, D, and F. So I'm going into bubble A first. All right, so a few things that I want to point out, ladies and gentlemen. Again, frequently asked questions are up here in the upper right hand corner. So if you ever have a question, check up here as well. Always make sure you read your instructions in their entirety prior to proceeding. That way you know what it is that you're supposed to be doing on this bubble or this part of the lesson. All right, so it says use paragraph tags. Using the opening P and the closing P tag or paragraph, start and end tags are placed around text to indicate that it is part of a paragraph. Placing text between the paragraph starts and end tags lets the computer know that it should be treated slightly differently, often just spacing it out from the other text. Do this using paragraph tags to separate the content into different paragraphs. So there is this big giant text, and I need to separate this out into separate paragraphs. And if I look at the person who coded this, it sort of looks like they already had some ideas on what they wanted to separate the paragraphs into. So I am going to use their model. So I'm going to say, it says some species of, and it ends here, the diversity to bring to their ecosystems. So I'm going to come over here, and I am going to enter in my opening tag for a paragraph. And then at the end of this paragraph, I am going to put a closing tag. It's the same thing. It just has a slash in it as well. And you can see over here in my preview area that now this text, some species of animals living in the Americas were not originally from here, blah, blah, blah. Today, let's look at some animals that are native to the Americas and appreciate the diversity they bring to their ecosystems. Just because I'm a nerd, I have to add a period here because that's the end of a sentence and it needs a period. All right, so you can see where it has separated out. So my next one, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I am going to go ahead and do an opening paragraph tag. And at the end of this paragraph, I am going to do a closing paragraph tag. Again, that is going to be a less than an equal sign facing each other with the P in between. And then if it's a closing tag, I am going to include that slash. So I need to have those tags around the content that I want to be in the paragraph. All right, same thing down here on line 11. It says rattlesnakes are a group of species. I'm going to do my opening paragraph tag. At the beginning of the paragraph, I am going to do my closing paragraph tag at the end of the paragraph. And again, paragraph tag is a less than and greater than symbol with the P on the inside. That is how we write in HTML. Last paragraph, same thing. Opening paragraph for tortoises and a closing paragraph on the tortoise paragraph. All I did for each paragraph is I added a opening paragraph tag and I added a closing paragraph tag. As always, once you are done with a particular level, make sure you hit finish or continue or next. That orange button at the bottom, if you don't click on that, that information that the lesson that you just did does not get sent to the teacher side. And why do something if you're not going to get credit for it? All right, so finally we have, we're going to move on to letter D, debugging headings. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. I'm going to go in here and get this one completed. Again, uh, what is a bug? What is debugging? What are some examples? These are some frequently asked questions. If you have these questions, you can click on them and get into and find an answer. So again, we are debugging. There are mistakes in the code. All a bug is a mistake in your code, which means your code is not going to run correctly. Okay? So we need to debug. What is debugging? Debugging is the process of finding and fixing bugs. It's basically, we're going to go through the problem solving process that we talked about last week. We are going to identify the problem, and we are going to then think about how to solve it, try a couple of different things, and then reflect on what worked well and what didn't work very well. All right, so do this. Fix all the pink errors. Adjust the heading tags to be the appropriate size if necessary. Awesome. So now that I know what I'm doing, I am going to see if I can fix my pink code. All right, so line 6 has a mistake. I see pink. It starts off as H1, and then the closing tag says H3. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important that your opening tag and your closing tag, that the contents of the tag match. So styles of dance, this is my main heading. So I'm going to make sure that this is not, it's H1, H1, not H1, H3. Now that they match my opening and closing tag, you'll notice it's no longer pink. All right, so now I have a subheading tag that says ballet. Okay, so it starts off with H3 and it ends in H1. Again, I'm going to debug this so that it works properly. It's no longer pink. And I'm going to change this from H3 to H3. Again, my opening tag and my closing tag need to match. So make sure you fix that. All right. Here's my thing though. This one starts with H1 and ends in H3. But b-boying or breakdancing is a style of dance. In my opinion, this heading should be an H3. It should match like ballet, it should match like modern dance. So I am going to change my H1 and the front end, even though it's not pink, I'm going to change that to a 3. Because the most important thing is that they match. Okay, let me make this slightly bigger. Maybe it'll be easier to see if I can. There we go. Let me get rid of this. All right, so so the question was, I didn't see how you decoded to not be pink. How did you do that? All I'm doing is I'm going into the work sections. Remember, there's files all the way to the left. My work area is in the center, and then the preview is over here on the side. All I'm doing is I'm finding my, let me go back. All I'm doing is I'm finding my pink code and I'm changing the pink code so that it's no longer pink. I'm basically debugging. So let me get rid of my instructions. All right, so as I'm looking at my code, and I'm just going to make this smaller just so I have bigger space to work with. Styles of dance is my main heading. I'm literally just going to go to line 6 of the code, and I'm going to change my 3 to a 1. I want my opening tag and my closing tag to match. Okay. Line 8 of the code also is in pink. It is a subheading, so I'm using a smaller heading because remember H3 is going to be smaller than H1. So I want to change this one from H1 to H3. That way it matches. Now you'll notice now my 10 is highlighted. That's telling me line 10 of code has pink. I need to go in and fix that. Now, b-boying / breakdancing, this is a style of dance, and this should be a subheading. So I want all of my subheadings to have the same tag, in this case H3, And then now that I look at my code, I have H3 for breakdancing, H3 for modern dance, H3 for ballet, and H1 for styles of dance. Once that is done, let me make this smaller so I can see it all at one time. Yep, it does not look like I have any more pink in my code. That means I have successfully debugged this. Everything's looking good on my preview. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. And always make sure that you do hit finish before you move on. Otherwise, it doesn't get sent to me. The last one I want to do is F, because we did not really take a look at line breaks yet. Not formally, anyways. All right, so again, here I have my paragraph is this poem. If you are familiar with haikus, haikus are a form of Japanese poem, which the first line has five syllables, the second line has seven syllables, and then the last line is supposed to have five syllables again. That is the structure of Japanese poetry, which is called haikus. So I want my poem to all be one paragraph, but because of how haikus work, these lines have to be separate. If I want to break the line but not break things into separate paragraphs, I use line break. Line break is weird because it's not opening and closing tag. Just wherever you want the line break, you just put the line break code. In this case, and I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller. And then I'm going to make my screen bigger so we can see. So we can see it's all running together in one paragraph. That is not what a haiku is supposed to look like. At the end of line 7 in my work area, scrolling through my phone, I want to do a line break there. Scrolling through my phone, that's 5 syllables. Line break is BR. And you'll notice over here on the side, it's not a separate paragraph. I don't see a whole bunch of spaces, but it did break the line. The internet connects us. The internet connects us. That is my 7 line. At the end of 7 syllables in a haiku, we need to do a line break. So at the end of line 9 in my code, I'm going to put BR for a line break. Again, you see up here where it separated it. So again, BR is code. Matthew, did you see what I'm doing? Because I just noticed that you had a question. Line breaking at wherever you want the line break to be, you literally just have to put open less than greater than and then BR in the middle. Okay? And now my haiku is working properly. I have 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Mostly if we are doing poetry is when we're going to use a line break, but technically you can use it anywhere you want. But line breaks are usually used for style reasonings. All right, once this is completed, as always, go ahead and hit your finish button or continue or whatever it says on the student side of things. I always forget. All right, and let me make this smaller so I can think. All right, so again, we did A, D, and F together. You will need to go in and do B, C, and E together by yourself, okay? So you do need to finish B, C, and E on your own. All right, taking a look at the sentence, the second bubble. So these are lists. So sometimes in our HTML, sometimes in our personal websites, we are going to want to create lists. Maybe it's going to be my top 10 favorite movies. Maybe it's just going to be a list with what's it called with bullets where I want to say like these are some of the things that you need to pack, but not necessarily in any kind of order. So that gives us ordered lists and unordered lists. So bulleted lists are unordered. Ordered lists have numbers. They pretty much work the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and do the order. I'll just do the ordered list. It doesn't really matter. And then you can do the other one on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and do B. All right, so an ordered list is like an unordered list, but it has numbers. Okay, using the OL instead of UL. All right, do this. So here is how we make an ordered list. I use OL and list item tags. You know what? Maybe we should do A. Maybe it has more of an explanation. I apologize. Okay, cool. Yes. All right, so here we have some code to look at. And again, feel free to use your inspector tool. If I come here to my list, I can see how this list was created. All right. UL is telling me that it's going to be an unordered list. So I have my opening UL and my closing UL. And in between, I have LI, which stands for list items. So in the directions, it wants us to list some of our favorite desserts. Okay, we can do that. Let me make my screen bigger so it's a little easier to see, so you guys can see my code. All right, cool. So I'm making an unordered list. I need to have an opening tag, UL for an unordered list. Now, this is just me. This is what I like to do. As soon as I do my opening tag, I don't have any content there yet, I like to do my closing tag because I always forget. Like me, my biggest bug that I always create, I always forget to do closing tags. That's kind of like my thing. So, whatever. I always try to take care of it at the beginning. All right. So, on my unordered list, I need to have some list items. And my list items is LI. So, somebody tell me a favorite dessert. Either drop it in the chat or just unmute and tell me. What is a dessert you like? Cookies. Cool. So, cookies. So, that's my first item on my list.
Ice cream.
And then I'm going to end it, LI, closing tag, like so. All right, somebody said ice cream. Somebody said cheesecake. Oof, y'all are making me hungry. All right, so if I want to make an item on the list, I make LI to make the item. And then I'm going to say cheesecake. And then I need to close my list item. There we go. Let's see what else people put in the chat. I'm just trying to scroll up real quick. If I can figure out why my mouse isn't working. There we go. Cookies. We did cheesecake, chocolate straw. Ooh, good God. Y'all are making me hungry. All right. Creating a list item. LI. Choco. Wet. Strawberries. That's another list item. So I'm going to close my list item. Close. Oops. LI. Oops. LI. There we go. Somebody said brownies. Awesome. List item. Item on the list is brownies. Close the list item. And then somebody said ice cream. List item. Ice cream. Close the list item. Cinnamon rolls. Yes. You are my people. All right. So I think I got all our suggestions, but you can see how this works now. Start off UL for an unordered list. An unordered list is a list with bullet points. And then each item on my list, I have to surround with LI. So LI and then close LI. At the end of my list, I need to close off the fact that it is an unordered list. This is how we create lists. Now, if I wanted to do an ordered list, which is a numbered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all my code would be the same, but instead I would have OL at the beginning and OL at the end. Ordered list. All right. Questions about lists? Okay. As always, make sure you hit finish when you're done. I am going to leave bubble B for you to do. Always check back with bubble A if you have any questions or issues. All right, so now this is where the little, quiz part or whatever, this is kind of where you're going to get a little of your creativity going in. So it says do this. Add HTML to make, it says the page that you sketched in your project guide. So here's the thing. Did I not? On your, what's it called? Google Classroom, as soon as I finish this video, I am going to be adding in the project guide. You are not required to turn in the project guide. It is just a planning guide for you. And in the project guide, it is going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to have in your little mini project here. So I do have a moment to go over that. Now, at this point, I think we're done with this lesson, at least as far as the video part is concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video.